in keeping with football, we're going to jump into my conversations with the Syracuse Orange football team. I had the opportunity for some Q&As with Syracuse Orange football, and I'm so thankful for the opportunities that we've had. Thank you to Syracuse University, as well as the athletic communications department, and of course, a thank you to Dino Babers and to his players for taking some time with us on during this crazy time, taking some time with us to figure some things out and be able to speak with one another and all of that. So very happy to have the opportunity to be able to do this, and very much looking forward to sharing that with you today on the broadcast. I know a lot of people are hoping and wishing and praying that there's going to be a football season for our Central and Upstate New York teams like West Genesee, and that's you're wishing and hoping and praying that that's also going to be the case for Syracuse football and whatnot, as long as we could do it in a safe and healthy environment. I know a lot of people are hoping for the opportunity to get this thing to happen. So hopefully it will. And, as we go toward that, I have had the opportunity to have some Q&As with Syracuse. And so you're going to be able to hear them all today. Head coach Dino Babers, offensive lineman Airon Servais, defensive lineman Kingsley Jonathan. And, you'll also hear the opportunity or have the opportunity to hear from Luke Benson and Ifeatu Melifonwu. We'll all be joining the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So once again, a big thanks to Syracuse for helping to make this possible so that I could share these with you today. So without further ado, we're going to hop into my conversations with Syracuse, and we're going to start things off with Mr. Dino Babers. Dino and I had the opportunity to talk about a few different things here, and I want to jump over to that first and foremost. So here is Dino Babers and what he had to say about what's going on with Syracuse in the current state that we're in right now, and this is what Dino had to say.
Just what you can say about how practice has been with the start and stop, kind of the restart that you've had with a couple practices where the players have sat out. Just what you could say about how the team's kind of gone through that and the environment moving forward.
Well, I think they handled it well. They basically said certain things, and we dropped the ball on the one thing, and they were right. And we froze practice until we cleaned it up. And the athletic director's already made a statement. And since that point, practice has been running really well. The guys have been active out at practice. They've been doing their part when they're out there. And hopefully we're going to continue to have a lot more practices like that.
And then as far as, safety and everything moving forward, the ACC still pushing toward the season. Just what you can say about the climate of college football right now as we continue to see conferences and schools try to make some decisions here as other schools are looking to maybe play in the spring.
I can't talk for everyone else. I can only speak for Syracuse. I know that we, with the Thursday test that we had last week, we're at 1,450 tests for our players. Obviously, there was a statement on how many positives we've had since those 1,450 tests, and I feel like the atmosphere here and the safety things that we're trying to get done at Syracuse for our players are really, really good. I think we have the right format. A lot of other schools are having success with their format as well. We just hope that all this stuff continues as students start to come back to campus, and ours are starting to come back, and it's good to see them. And I know all of our students, as far as I know, are going through a 14-day quarantine before they're even allowed to go into their dorms rooms. So we're doing a lot of extreme stuff here at Syracuse to try to keep the learning environment and the student athletes all safe. We really feel that we may be a little biased, but we feel like they may be a little bit safer here on campus than maybe in some of the areas that they go back to, especially if they're going back to a hot area, because the state of New York's not hot right now. But we feel like we're doing a good job. We're going to cross T's and dot I's and hopefully not stub our toe anymore, and hopefully continue to work towards the start of the ACC season.
Thank you, Coach. Stay safe.
Thanks, Dan.
That coming from Dino Babers once again, talking about something that I spoke about here on the show, which is, arguably players could be safer in that environment than if they were back home. So, talking about the fact that they're getting tested at all, because, some people at home may not be getting tested. So getting tested in general, and then on top of that, getting tested, to the extent that they're being tested, and, and then, just the living situation for some of these guys is better. So, Dino Babers talking about freezing practice until he cleaned it up, said that they dropped the ball on some things and wanted to get it right, and I appreciate that. As far as what the one thing was that Syracuse dropped the ball on, Babers offered in our media call. He said, quote, "The big thing was we had gone from we were testing every 2 weeks, and the players asked. We had a meeting not in our meeting room because we wanted to have social distancing, and we had a meeting in our very spacious indoor with everybody separated, and I had the microphone and they asked me a question and I didn't have the technical answer to. I asked a person that works for me and they answered without the microphone, and with the air conditioners running and the giant fans and stuff, I looked at him. I really didn't hear the answer, but I thought I heard the answer, but I really didn't hear the answer. Then we came back and he checked with somebody and they said, no, we can't do that. And it never got back to me that we couldn't do that," Babers had went on to say. He also said, quote, "I actually forgot too because we were under a strict 2-week boom, boom, boom. And then they asked us to do, what they asked us to do was go to 1 week. So then we went to 1 week. And when the date hit, we didn't test. And they," speaking on the players, "called us on it, and rightfully so. The facts are the facts. We didn't do it. We had gone, I would say, 6 weeks without a positive. So we had gone a long period of time, and we were in camp mode. So they, the players, went and they called us on it, and they were right. We stopped practice, and until we got everybody tested clean, we weren't going to start practice again because that's what we agreed to," end quote. So Babers really just making a statement here on what's been going on. He said, since the 2 stoppages in practice, he said, quote, "Practice has been running really well. The guys have been active. Obviously, they've been doing their part when they're out there, and hopefully we're going to continue to have a lot more practices like that," end quote. When addressing my question on the climate of college football, you heard what he had to say, that he can only speak for Syracuse, and he believes that the safety things that are getting done at Syracuse are really, really good. He did bring out the number that there were 1,450 tests. In this conversation I had with him, we're dating back to last week, so over 1,450 tests. And so, he said, quote, "I think we have the right format. A lot of other schools are having success with their format as well. We just hope that all this stuff continues as students start to come back to campus, and our students are starting to come back, and it's good to see them," end quote. So he talked about the 14-day quarantine that students are supposed to take as well. And he also put this out, which was ironically very much connected to what's been going on. We know that some Syracuse freshmen didn't make the best of decisions, and it's funny how he had said this. He said Babers is not only hoping and relying on himself, his staff, and the football student athletes to do the right thing, but he's relying on the entire student body and surrounding community. He said, quote, "That's going to be the real key. What they do at night reflects what's going to happen to them during the day," end quote. Then we see what some of the kids decided to do that wasn't the best plan, in my opinion. Babers knew that he, as well as anyone else, cannot stay up all night checking up on everyone. He said, quote, "I can't stay up that many hours. I go to bed early at 9:30 p.m. I really believe that everybody's going to be good during the day, but what are they going to be doing during the night?" End quote. And, that's obviously ironically foreshadowed what happened. Put simply, if you want football or life to return to any type of what we're used to, we all have to do our part. Central New York is tough. We've been through many things in history, and when it comes to safety, it's not good enough to simply take care of yourself. We must also be cognizant of what is going on around us, and that it takes a community of people to tear something down or build something up. And that goes for Central New York, and it goes for anywhere else in the community and anywhere else in the world. So please be safe, please be smart, and please do all that you can to care about one another and not just caring about yourself. With that being said, we're going to hop into my player conversations here. Airon Servais, offensive lineman, is up next on the docket. This is what Airon had to say to me when we had an opportunity to speak with one another. So, Airon Servais, a vet on the line here for the Syracuse Orange football team. And Mr. Servais being somebody who the team's been able to lean on in general and lean on the offensive line as a redshirt senior, this is our conversation.
Just what you can say about how the process has been through practice and whatnot, and how the players are as a community. I know you guys sat out a couple times. Dino said it was duly noted, and he understood why you guys did. Just what you took from that and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just miscommunication between players and staff at times. Guys are really just worried about their safety and their overall health going into the season. This is something that none of us are used to. So as players, we just want to make sure that we're as protected as possible.
And as far as that, what can you say about the plans that are put in place and kind of the protocol and all that? If you feel safe and if you feel like Syracuse is giving you the best opportunity to move forward toward a healthy season?
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the work that Syracuse as a university has had and our staff has had, our medical staff, I feel very comfortable. We've been going with weekly testing during camp, and then as we move forward towards the season, it'll be 3 times a week. I mean, I'm very happy with that going forward. I feel like the staff really wants us to feel good and feel comfortable and feel safe, so we can really focus on football. So I'm very pleased with the precautions and the measures that our staff is taking.
Thank you, Airon, and stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
That comment from Airon Servais saying that he's happy with what the staff's been doing to help to keep them safe. And as they roll toward the season, testing 3 times a week, something very notable there to take a look at. So appreciate Airon being a part of the show as always. And we'll go from the offensive line to the defensive line and head over to defensive lineman Kingsley Jonathan. Kingsley Jonathan and I also had an opportunity to speak as we're getting ready for this hopeful 2020 fall season for college football for Syracuse. And this is what Kingsley Jonathan had to say, the senior on the other side, when it came down to getting his thoughts about what's going on.
You being a senior, obviously the importance of getting out there to, not only be there with your brothers at Syracuse, but hopes of the NFL and whatnot. Just what you can say about being in the ACC and one of the conferences that made the decision to move forward and play as opposed to some of the other conferences.
As far as I'm concerned, we will find a way to keep everybody safe. That's the most important thing. And if we can stay safe and play ball, that's positive. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
For this defense and what Tony White's been implementing and whatnot, just what you can say about the 3-3-5, your comfort level, and if we're going to see maybe some more versatility from you.
Oh yeah, we have a lot in store, and we're as a whole defense, we're enjoying it and we're embracing this new concept and understanding the defense a different kind of way, and we're just looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to get out there and playing different positions and different spots on the field too.
Thanks, Kingsley. Stay safe.
Thank you.
That coming once again from Kingsley Jonathan, excited about what's going on with this new 3-3-5 defense and the versatility and what he can do as he gets set for this season. Luke Benson coming up next year. Luke Benson is a sophomore. It's been a while since we've seen the tight end position really get utilized at Syracuse in the passing game. And last season we got to see Luke definitely involved in this and had some fun out there with it, some trickery and some success. And so very excited to see what he can do after he got out there right away and made an immediate impact. So number 87 on the field for Syracuse. And he is here with us today in this Q&A and to see what he has to say about what's been going on in the world of collegiate athletics and just kind of what his takeaways have been. So without further ado, this is Luke Benson, sophomore tight end for Syracuse.
Just what you can say about Sterling Gilbert, new offensive coordinator. Obviously, you guys have not had all the practices that you wanted to have, and this has been a very interesting year to have a new offensive coordinator, but just what your takeaways have been from what he's trying to implement.
I think everything getting put in and going very smoothly, and we've been working real hard, just trying to, put stuff in, figure it out, and fix what we can. Coach Gilbert's awesome, and he's been doing a really well job of helping us out, of understanding what he wants, and we've done a good job of just being able to work hard and get it done.
You've spoken about this team being together and trying to figure things out as you've set out some practices and whatnot. What can you say about what you've learned of the leadership of this team and the give and take between the coaching staff and the players?
Yeah, there's a lot of great leaders on the team, and the coaches. They're great listeners. And Coach Babers, when we came to him and said, we need to make sure that we're going to be safe and we have some things we would like to discuss with you and the athletic director, and they accepted that, and they did exactly what we asked them to, and they did a very well job of letting the leaders talk to them and figure it out together.
Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it. Stay safe.
Yeah, thank you.
So Luke talking about the fact that the Syracuse staff has been listening to the players, and the players have been stating this. They've been echoing that sentiment that the Syracuse staff has been listening to them and hearing their concerns, and that's obviously one of the best things that we can hear right now is that the players are being listened to and that their safety is important and is paramount, and that's obviously a huge thing. People talk about how, this is all done for the money, the money, the money. Well, you're hearing the players say there's more to it than that, and saying that the coaches are listening to what is on their mind and what their concerns are, and that is something above everything else that I'm happy to hear. Last but not least of my 5 Q&As with Syracuse football as we head toward a hopeful fall 2020 season is Ifeatu Melifonwu. You heard from head coach Dino Babers, offensive lineman Airon Servais, defensive lineman Kingsley Jonathan, and tight end Luke Benson in that order. And wrapping up these 5 is defensive back Ifeatu Melifonwu, who we call Iffy. And this is what he had to say.
Just interested to see what your brother Obi's been saying kind of through this process on the professional level. If you've kind of picked his brain at all about playing and some of the things that are going on with Corona and maybe some things he's going through, if you've spoken with him about this.
Only thing I've really spoken to him about is, he's a free agent right now. So for the longest time during this whole Corona thing, there was like kind of a stalemate, and they weren't bringing in free agents for the workouts because of obviously the virus concerns. And he was just telling me about how it's not gonna be good for rookies because they're gonna miss a lot of developmental stuff they have to do. And a lot of rookies, he was telling me a lot of rookies or undrafted guys are going to get cut because they brought the roster down from 90 to 80. So a lot of them are going to get cut without even playing yet. So that's the only thing he was telling me about. But the main thing he was talking about was just the stalemate and not free agents not being able to work out. But they just opened that up last week.
And then as far as your first opponent on Saturday, September 12th, is supposed to be North Carolina. They just went through a 24-hour kind of surveillance period to shut everything down, all athletic activities, due to some coronavirus outbreak that's happened with the overall student body. What are the concerns of the team about that and knowing that another team in the ACC and your first opponent is obviously going through some issues on campus right now?
We haven't really talked about that as a team. I feel like North Carolina, they probably did the best thing in that situation to kind of shut it down and do surveillance. But as a whole, we haven't really talked about that.
Thanks, Ify. Stay safe.
Thank you, you too.
That once again coming from Ifeatu Melifonwu, a defensive back for the Syracuse Orange, giving his thoughts as we head toward this season. I want to thank all of these gentlemen for being a part of the show. I want to thank Syracuse for having our Zoom calls so that we could have these Q&As and the opportunity to speak with head coach Dino Babers as well as the players. So thank you to Syracuse, thank you to the athletic communications department, and obviously to the football staff and the players, to head coach Dino Babers, offensive lineman Airon Servais, defensive lineman Kingsley Jonathan, tight end Luke Benson, and defensive back Ifeatu Melifonwu for answering my questions so that we could share those with you today in our coverage of Syracuse Orange football.